right, let's move on to our second big story. Protests rocked different parts of Akure, Ondo State in southwest Nigeria over recognition of Jimoh Ibrahim as the standard bearer of the People's Democratic Party for the governorship election by the Independent National Electoral Commission.
Now, the protesters who blocked major roads in Akure and other towns hindered vehicular movement in the capital. TVC's Ayodeji Muradeyo has more on the story.
This is another protest organized to kick against the recognition of Jimoh Ibrahim as the standard bearer of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the November 26th governorship election in the state. This time, the protesters were led by the state chairman of the Ahmed McCarthy-led faction, Clement Faboyede. From the party secretariat at Alagbaka, the protesters marched to the palace of the Deji of Akure, Obalade Lucy Alade Toyibo. Armed with placards with various inscriptions, the protesters described Ibrahim as a spoiler.
So you can see what is happening here. If Jimoh is on ground, why can people be mobilizing for him? Nobody will mobilize for him because he's a political persona non grata. He's not part of us.
We have decided as a person, as a people in Ondo State, that we will not stand a situation where Abuja will impose candidate on us. Our candidate is a Jegede, and we are not going to allow it. We are in a situation where they are going to bring somebody that we didn't believe in.
It will not be like that. Jegede name will come back. I am a positive thinker. I'm not a negative thinker. Therefore, I don't believe that it will happen that his name will not come back. His name will come back.
I'm protesting because no Jegede, no votes. We want Jegede there. I want him to be there. He's the right man for us. He's the right governor.
At the palace, the factional chairman of the PDP appealed to the traditional ruler to intervene in the matter. He urged the monarch to appeal to President Muhammadu Buhari and INEC not to disturb the peace in the state.
We are calling and begging on the president of this country that we are not here to incite or insulate or to put pressure, but we are here to bear our mind to our elder father. In Yoruba land, when you are aggrieved, when you cannot solve a problem, you run to the palace.
The monarch on his part urged the protesters to conduct themselves in a peaceful manner. Earlier, 21 PDP lawmakers in the State House of Assembly at a news conference described Ibrahim's recognition by INEC as a fraud. The Speaker of the House of Assembly, Jumoke Akindele, who addressed journalists on behalf of our colleagues, said Ibrahim is not a member of the PDP.
All right, joining us now is the PDP factional chairman in Ondo State, B. Boroye, who is of the Alimodu Sherry faction. And, well, I was talking to him earlier before. He said, well, there's some insinuation he's going to make corrections. He's going to make corrections on anyway. But it's good to have you join us, B.
Thanks for joining us. Of course, we'll be joined also by a PDP factional publicity director in Ondo State, Banji Okunomo, and he is of the Ahmed Makarfi faction. Thanks for joining us. We'll take a short break and return to discuss in earnest. Stay with us.
All right, thanks for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. On this segment, we are going to be talking about the seeming chaos in within the political party of the PDP in Ondo State, one of the states in the southwest preparing for election. And we have in the studio with us one of the factional chairmen of the party, B. Boroye. He is here in the studio. And we also have the publicity secretary of the other faction, Banji Okomo, and he is joining us from our studio in Abuja. Now, let's give a background to this before we ask any questions to you, gentlemen. Yes. Now, there are two PDP candidates laying claims to the ticket to contest in November the 26th governorship election in Ondo State.
They are Jegede and Ibrahim Jimo. Now, both men emerged from two separate primaries organized by the Ahmed Makarfi and Ali Modu Sharif factions in the state. Okay, so gentlemen, let's begin this way. In September, maybe I should start with Banji Okomo in Abuja there. In September, INEC recognized Jegede's son as PDP candidate, only to omit his name on last week's final list, replacing it with Jimo Ibrahim. First off, give us your take on this decision by INEC.
Well, let me say that the development, which is the most ugly development that has ever happened in the history of our democracy in Nigeria, is what has been done with respect to substitution of the name of the validly elected candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, with that of Jimo Ibrahim, Jegede SAN, who emerged from the special congress that was held in Akure on the 22nd of August, meeting all the criteria required for purpose of a congress in that respect, as enshrined in the constitution of the PDP and also in compliance with the Electoral Act, which is the guiding principles and law upon which INEC predicates its action upon. Our body of executive had complied with all that the INEC laid down in respect of the Congress. And we had the Congress. The Congress complied with our constitution. And what is the Congress of the PDP as contained in the constitution of the party? The Congress of the PDP comprises the following: all NEC members who are from the state, the governor of the state, the leader of the party, deputy governor, the House of Assembly members, National Assembly members that are all on the platform of PDP, who are members of the party. All these are automatic delegates at the corner. All the party chairmen in the 18 local government areas of the state, all the local government chairmen elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, all vice chairmen of council, and the three ad hoc delegates, as spelled out by the constitution of the party, of which one must be a woman. All these people met on the 22nd of August, all right, and elected Jegede as the
Banji, let me put you on hold a little bit.
Party.
Yeah, Banji, let me put you on hold a little bit because we're trying to check the time before we go on the update. But B, let me come to you on this. What is really going on? Give us a perspective of what's going on in Ondo State from your window.
Well, thank you. It's a very great privilege to be here. I've always been saying it is not my nature, or a good nature for that matter, for a party to have intra-party matters and find it difficult to resolve it, especially when you have a sitting governor who is a member of the party. Now, I have been in PDP since inception, 1998, up till now, so I know the workings and the history of the party. everybody that I've been speaking from the other side came in 2014 November. So they can't really understand the tradition of the party. Now, in Ondo State, like any other state, there are 3 senatorial districts. These 3 senatorial districts, North, South, and Central, in the whole world.
Right here, welcome back. Now to our second big story for the day. Of course, we're looking at Ondo State and the crisis brewing there as the 2016 gubernatorial election draws near, talking about November 26th, factional, quarrels and all of that. And the courts have been intervening. Of course, INEC seems to be caught right in the middle of all of this. Now, to you, Poroye, can you really fault INEC, for replacing Itayo Jegede's name with Jimoh Ibrahim? After all, the court, Federal High Court, headed by Justice Okonabang, declared that Jimoh, Ibrahim should, he is the rightful, candidate for the PDP.
Not really, but I was trying to make a point before the break.
Yes, please go ahead.
Now, in the 3 senatorial districts, the chairmanship of the party, most importantly, have been rotated. The Central, where the governor is, have spent their 8 years, and the governor wanted another 8 years of party chairmanship.
In what way?
The governor wanted another 8 years of the party chairmanship by preferring the person that is there to continue another 8 years, even when they have completed their 8 years. And of course, in a normal society, you cannot expect everybody to keep quiet. And that was what brought about people like us coming on board to say, no, this cannot happen. It is the turn of the Southern Senatorial District, who have spent 1 year, 2 months since the inception of PDP in Ondo State. And that was how I emerged. So we went to court after our Congress. Before we went to court, we wrote the party, the National Working Committee. As at that time, there was no crisis in the PDP. That was why I said I am not a factional chairman. May 12th, the National Working Committee replied our letter, and the Bush Convention came up in May 21 at Port Harcourt. So as from May 12th, I have been in existence to say that we have looked at all the documents. Your ESCO is the authentic one. We presented these letters to INEC, we presented to the leaders of the party, but we have a sitting governor and is the leader of the party.
Yes.
And of course, even when you say you are right, you are wrong, you can choose which one is right and which one is wrong and which one you want to use. So when we felt that our rights are being maligned and times are going, we went to court. And June 29, the court gave a verdict to say that Poroye ESCO is the authentic ESCO. Now, coming to INEC and coming to the judgment, as at the time the Congress of Barrister Itayo Jegede came on board, the ESCO he presented himself to was not in existence in the face of the law. It's surprising, we have lawyers. Law is law. It's not about what you feel. It's not about what you think. It's not about how it should be. Once a verdict is given, you respect that verdict. June 29, the court gave a judgment, not even an order, a judgment to say that Poroye-led ESCO is the authentic ESCO. So anyone that submitted himself to aspire under Poroye-led ESCO become the automatic and the authentic candidate of the party.
And who is the candidate in
that
this
case?
That is
by Jimoh Ibrahim, and that's where INEC came in. INEC caused all the mess up. Let's be sincere, because as at the time INEC was relating with Barrister Itayo Jegede, INEC was in court when the judgment was given. They had the copy of the judgment. They know which ESCO is the authentic ESCO. They know which ESCO to relate with. But INEC in Ondo State chooses to relate with somebody that never existed in the face of the law for any reason. I know that's very funny to us. So for INEC to now say, I went and supervised also election, when you were in court, you have the judgment, INEC should be blamed for all this crisis. And when Barrister Itayo Jegede's name was submitted to INEC and INEC accepted that name, we believe that we should not take laws into our hand. We went back to court. This is an ideal society. Let's follow the rule. And the court gave his judgment again to say, INEC, you have made an error. Because you were in court, you have the judgment with you. This judgment was with the parties. It's a public document for 90 days. Nobody appealed the judgment, including Jegede, and he can bear me witness. When he came to my private office to seek for support, I told him, I said, sir, look at me, eyeball to eyeball. Is it fair for you to run? The governor is completing 8 years from Central Senatorial District. You are from Central Senatorial District.
But those who are opposing Jimoh Ibrahim's emergence as the candidate are saying Jimoh Ibrahim was not even part of the primaries in the first place.
That's why I said they are
and
not.
that, as far as some are concerned, he's not even a member of the party.
The speaker said so.
Yes, who is the speaker? She came to the party 2014. They don't know the history of the party. Ask the speaker, what will be her contribution to the party? Ask our governor, what will be his contribution to the party? Every bosses that is riding in each local government today were contributed by Jimoh Ibrahim.
All right, let's bring in Banji here. Banji, you've been listening to the conversation. Now let's take it back a little bit. There are insinuations here and there that the issues within Ondo State Ondo State PDP is totally a function of the chaos at the national level between Ali Modu Sheriff and Ahmed Makarfi. What is your reaction to that?
Well, first and foremost, before I react to that, I want to say that there is a need for me to put the record straight. I would not like the way my brother is trying to malign the name of the governor. He who comes to equity must come with clean hand. The man he is putting forward to be his own gubernatorial candidate, Jimoh Ibrahim. Jimoh Ibrahim is from the same local government, the same community, with the governor that was there before, Governor Mimiko. There are 18 local government areas in Ondo State, of which Okitipupa is one. Late Dr. Agagu, former governor, was from Okitipupa local government. Jimoh Ibrahim is from Okitipupa local government. If he is saying he wants to right any wrong, on what basis will Jimoh Ibrahim will now be the preference of the people of Ondo State when the last but one governor was from Okitipupa local government? So I just want to put that aside that my brother is not coming to equity. If he wants to come to equity, he must come with clean hand. That's one. The second point I want to make here is that everybody in this country knows that Ali Modu Sheriff's tenure had ended. Ali Modu Sheriff was brought into the national executive of the PDP by appointment of the INEC, not by the convention of the party. In Port Harcourt, at the Port Harcourt Convention, where the convention held, where all those that constitute the convention of the PDP, which is the highest authority of the PDP, met. It was the entire national executive of the working committee of the party was dissolved in Port Harcourt. The tenure of Ali Modu Sheriff ended. And of course, you will also recall the judgment of Justice Liman of Port Harcourt, which lent credence to the fact that the convention held in Port Harcourt was validly held. So the convention is the highest authority of the party. And let me also say, my brother who lays claim to the fact that he's the chairman of the PDP in Ondo State, is my brother. We are from the same local government. He was one of the 3-man ad hoc delegates representing his ward at the special congress that produced Fabo-led executive, including myself. B.E. Poroye is on record, is in the video tip. When again I'm going to appear on this forum, I'm going to bring the video clip. He was the one who moved the motion for my nomination as the publicity secretary of the PDP in Ondo State. We had our congress in Ondo State successfully, even under Ali Modu Sheriff when he was still the substantive chairman of the party. Now, at what point did B.E. Poroye emerge the chairman of PDP in Ondo State? When he was a member of the ad hoc committee that nominated our own executive. So, again, let me also say, the Justice Abang judgment is putting forward as a basis for which is laid claim to the chairmanship of Ondo State. When I put it to everybody, the whole world must hear this and the whole world must know this. We are before the Court of Appeal now. We believe that we are going to get justice at the end of the day. My brother and his group went to court in Justice Abang court to say that they are executive of the party at the
all right, if I may come in at this point, may I come in, please?
Yeah.
Just hold on a second. Let's give you more perspective to this, really. Now, how did the PDP find itself in this murky waters? Let's give you some background information. On September the 29th, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, confirmed and announced Itayo Jegede, immediate past Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice of Ondo State, the authentic candidate of the People's Democratic Party. Itayo Jegede SAN is the candidate of the Makarfi-led faction of the PDP.
Now, the Ali Modu Sharif-led faction of the PDP also conducted its own party primaries, and controversial businessman Jimo Ibrahim emerged their candidate. Now, the primary election that produced Jimo Ibrahim was held outside the state in the city of Ibadan, capital of Oyo State, also in the southwest of Nigeria. The exercise was conducted despite a court order stopping Sharif and his faction from going ahead with the primary election.
Now, the primary pendulum in the party swung on October the 14th in favor of the Sharif-led faction when a federal high court sitting in Abuja, presided over by Justice Okonabang, declared Ibrahim the authentic candidate of the party. Now, the court ordered the INEC, that's the Independent National Electoral Commission, to drop Jegede, whose name had earlier been submitted to it, and replace it with Ibrahim's name. Now, the chairman of the Makarfi-led faction of the PDP in Ondo State, Clement Faboyede, insisted that Justice Okonabang's judgment would not affect Jegede's candidature, stating that his faction would challenge the judgment at the Court of Appeal.
Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission on October the 27th further complicated the matter as he went ahead and listed Jimo Ibrahim as the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in obedience to an order of the Federal High Court in Abuja. Now, before we go asking any question, let's go on a break briefly and then we come back. Stay with us on the program.
We're looking at the Ondo gubernatorial crisis. I wonder what adjective to use in describing this one. Of course, we have our guests in the studio now talking about, you know, how INEC has come to be caught between the crossfire. On one hand, the supporters of Itayo Jegede are saying, no, we're not going to have it. Number one, Ibrahim Jimo, the controversial businessman, had no business being, you know, the candidate of the party in the first place. Some of them even say that he's not a member of the of the party. Then INEC, on the other hand, is saying that, look, the two parties, the two factions, have boxed themselves in by not going to the appeal court in the first place. You know, instead of going to the Federal High Court that's now giving contravening, or what's that word again? Different, you know, judgments as to who exactly should be the candidate of the PDP.
It brings in some level of contradiction.
How this affects even the reconciliatory plans at the you know, federal level is another matter entirely. Okay, let's bring in
let's bring in Fola Dele in here to give us a perspective of the reaction of Nigerians on this. Fola, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Ngozi.
Fola.
Okay, so INEC has spoken and they've chosen, and it seems the People's Democratic Party candidate is not the people's choice. So let's see what people are saying.
Let's find out what they're saying.
Okay, Olatunde says Itayo Jegede is the right man. For over years now, he has been in the system. He knows what is good for the people of Sunshine State. Grand Kenai says Ondo State elections is around the corner. You might want to pray. Kayode Ogundamisi says, I appeal to my good people of Ondo State. Do not shed your blood for Segun Mimiko, Jimo Ibrahim, or even Rotimi Akeredolu. They are pals. And someone had a reply to that, and he said, to INEC Nigeria, I appeal to INEC Nigeria, do not cause confusion in the state. Although some might argue that it might be too late to be saying that now. Peter is saying, please, federal government should bring back our man, Itayo Jegede. And the last one here from Nigeria's very own, he's saying, if at the end of it all, Itayo Jegede is not allowed to contest, then congrats to Olushola San of AD, Akeredolu of APC has no chance. Wow.
Okay.
We don't have Banji anymore, right?
No, I think we still have Banji
Okay, Banji, I want your thoughts on this. So, the last tweet here is saying, if at the end of it all, so that shows that it's not over yet, of course, until, of course, the day itself. Do you think that the people of Ondo, you know, the people protesting, might get their wish? Do you think that there's a chance that INEC might say, you know what, let's bring in Itayo Jegede?
Well, we have not exhausted all legal options. Right now, we are at the Court of Appeal, and all issues are laid bare before the panel of judges looking into the matter involving the PDP crisis in Ondo State and in Nigeria. We have implicit confidence that the judiciary at its apex level will do justice to the matter that is at hand. And let me say that it is a clear fact that we have been able to establish a major lacuna about the judgment that is being brandished by the so-called faction of the PDP in Ondo State. Right at the Court of Appeal, it was established from the document before the panel of judges that the plaintiff who went to court to ask the court to award them the authority of the party, the counsel who appeared for the plaintiff was also the counsel that appeared for the defendant. So there was an established case of collusion at the Justice Aban Court, where we had a situation whereby the lawyer who appeared for the plaintiff also appeared for the defendant, so as to be able to get a judgment in their own favor. And that, that it can never stand. It does not have any ground of law upon which it's going to stand. So that was not a court of finality. You will note that INEC, when it brought out the names of the candidates on its list, it stated that by court order they put the name of Jimoh Ibrahim. But we have also said that INEC is not also fair, because he that INEC had recognized Ita Jegede by reason of the fact that it monitored the primary that produced Ita Jegede. And also, there were other contrasting court orders against the order of Justice Abang, which say that the Ita Jegede's name shouldn't be removed. And these orders were served on the INEC even before the close of work, before they went ahead to post the list that is generating serious confusion everywhere in Ondo State right away. So I am saying that with the matter before the Court of Appeal, we are hoping on justice to be done, because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The judicial system is what everyone is looking up to, and we believe that we are going to get justice at the Court of Appeal.
All right, thank you very much, Banji.
Court of Appeal, I'm not going to speak much on it. I believe that we will get victory.
All right, thank you. At this point, we'll have to let Fola go.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so back to you, Koroye. INEC has said, if a superior court gives an order to it to replace even Jimoh Ibrahim at this stage, it will go ahead and do that.
Well, that is not correct. I think the problem here is that people are not reading even the constitution of Nigeria, let alone the constitution of our party. The only final authority that can remove name is Supreme Court. And when the name is presented to INEC, the law says that you can only remove this name if that person has committed a verifiable offense, or if he chooses to resign by himself.
Was that the case of Jegede that was replaced?
The truth of the matter is that I've said it. I don't want to go back to it. And let me tell Nigeria, you see these orchestrated rallies and all kinds of things will not work. Burning of tires to against the party will not work. For us that have been in the party, if you look at from number 1 to 50 of those that have been speaking, they're from Labour Party. We are doing our campaign, and we are not going to organize any counter rally. I will never allow that. I will never allow a rally where blood are going to be shed. Of course, there's no how bad you may be. You will still have your own people. You will still have your own supporters. But we are not going to. Of course, we do not also have the kind of resources, the state resources you'll be using to give somebody 1,000 or 2,000 to come and organize rallies. It will not work. Positions of governorship in Ondo State are rotated by senatorial district. It can happen. And I've told PDP, if they care to listen, Jonah Jang tried it, we lost. As bad as people are talking about some people in this country, our former leader and still the leader of the country, the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, when he completed his 80 years, and his own father said that the thing should start from their family and their ancestral disease, he resisted it. It can't work. If PDP fail to rotate this position. The people of Ondo State are prepared to rotate it.
What's your
It's so
take?
simple.
What's your take on one of the tweets there that says, "Look, if this whole crisis between Itayo Jegede and Jimo Ibrahim is not settled, it may just give advantage to Olushola Oke."
I want to assure the people of Ondo State it's going to be settled. Yesterday, Jimo Ibrahim was at Igbotako, just a meeting. Your correspondents were there. Come and see the crowd. We are talking about, I am an election consultant. We are talking about strategic winning of elections. It's not about us making, and thank God for President Buhari, you are not going to rig much. You are not going to manipulate much in this election. It's going to count. If appeal court give his judgment and we are not comfortable, we go to Supreme Court. And whatever the Supreme Court says is the final.
All right, Banji, as we get along in here, we know that chaos is not good for anyone, but would you be ready to reconcile, and what would be your consideration for reconciliation before the election on 26th of November?
My brother, I just want to tell you that our state has been a very peaceful state. Ondo State has been peaceful under Dr. Mimiko. Ondo State has been well developed under Dr. Mimiko. Dr. Mimiko has been a symbol of peace in this country, and everybody knows how the governor sounds. By his intuition, by his mentality, is not a violent person. And as a matter of fact, the multiple reactions of the people of Ondo State against the injustice which is currently pervading the land is a natural reaction of the people to situation of injustice, which is usually resisted all over the world. So we are not instigating any violence in Ondo State, and of course I note very seriously that the people of Ondo State are conscious of the fact that government had invested a lot in the development of the place, so no violent destruction had taken place ever since the demonstration. But as a matter of fact, as a party, all we are exploiting is legal solution to this matter. For the other group that is combating with us, they are doing so because they are agents of sabotage. They are being sent. They are not members of our party. Jimo Ibrahim is not a member of the People's Democratic Party. Yes, he was once a member, but in June he addressed a press conference.
Banji, what will be your condition for reconciliation, Banji? What will be your condition for reconciliation? What do you see? Go ahead.
The best reconciliation can only be that the evildoers should retrace their step. They know that with Jimo Ibrahim, the future of the PDP in Ondo State will be totally bleak. That is why this is the handiwork of some forces within the presidency, and I'm saying it, I'm not going to be afraid to say this, because I see INEC was independent under the People's Democratic Party, and that was also what paved way for the APC government to come into power. But ever since the APC government has been in power, we have been having a very serious tutelage and teleguide of the affairs of every organs of government, and that is what we are seeing in this.
All right, let me throw the same question. Let me bring the name of all right, just hold on, Banji, please. So the same question to you, Boroye.
Simple.
What will it take to ensure that things don't get out of hand in Ondo State?
The governor should be called to order. Is the leader of the party, ask the governor, as the leader of the party, the INEC published names, the next thing you went to the president. Nothing warranted that. Going to the president to say there's going to be crisis in my state because INEC have taken a decision. Every of the crises you are seeing in the state today are the handiwork of the governor. So like the governor is the chief security officer of the state. Those that are protesting are not members of AD. They are not members of APC. They are members of Labour Party, PDP. So it's their people. It's his own people. You can talk to them. If he call a meeting and say, Boroye come, Jimo come, everybody will be in that meeting. We'll talk it off. Okay. We are not here for do or die affairs.
All right.
The truth has to be done.
All right.
Good to know
Boroye, thank you very much for coming on the program. Thank you. And Banji Okomo, thank you for coming on the program as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll go on a break now, and we'll come back shortly. Stay with us.